All right, let's talk about the future of work. We're going to look at a vision for how AI could totally change the game inside big companies. Not just by making you better at your individual tasks, but by getting rid of the organizational friction that slows everything down. We're talking about building what you might call the frictionless enterprise.
So, to really get this, I want you to imagine something with me. Picture it's Monday morning, just a few years from now. You open your laptop, but instead of that usual tidal wave of emails and notifications, something's different. Something's already been happening in the background. While you are offline, your AI companion has been busy. It's been doing all that background coordination. Checking new code against the security team's benchmarks, making sure a new feature idea lines up with the legal department's guidelines, even spotting trends in the latest support tickets. Basically, all the prep work is just done.
So what's left for you to do? Well, the stuff that really matters. Instead of spending your time just routing information and chasing down answers, your job is elevated. You get to focus on what people are uniquely good at, using your judgment, setting the strategy, and making those tough decisions that require real experience.
And this right here is the absolute heart of the idea. AI stops being another app you have to open or another tool you have to learn. Instead, it becomes the company's connective tissue. It's this invisible fabric that weaves everything together, handling all that unseen work of coordination that usually takes up so much of our time. Okay, that 2027 vision sounds pretty amazing, right? But now, let's hit the brakes and come crashing back to the reality of today. Because you have to ask, if this is such a great idea, why aren't we there yet? Well, the data shows something kinda strange. Even in big companies that have access to all these incredible AI tools, the number of people who actually use them on a regular basis stalls out. It hits this ceiling somewhere around 30 or 40%. There's this huge gap between who could be using AI and who is.
Which of course leads to the billion-dollar question, right? If these tools are so powerful, why are so many people opting out? What's really causing this adoption gap?
Well, the answer, in a word, is friction. For a lot of employees, using AI today feels like it adds more work, not less. First, you have to figure out which AI tool to even use. Then you have to go grab context from 5 different systems, scrub out any sensitive info, add a bunch of background details. It's a whole process.
And after all that hassle, it's totally understandable that people get to the end and just think, you know what, it probably would have been faster to just do this the old way. And so they go back to what they know. The friction wins.
And this really highlights a critical difference in thinking. The AI tools we have now are fantastic at improving individual tasks, like helping you write an email or finish a line of code. But the biggest headache, the biggest source of friction in most companies, isn't the task itself. It's the coordination around the task. Finding the right info, getting aligned with other teams, all that stuff.
So, if the core problem is coordination, that suggests we need a totally different way of thinking about AI at work. We need to stop seeing it as just another feature inside a tool, and start seeing it as that fundamental layer, that connective tissue we talked about earlier.
And that brings us to this big idea, the AI coordination layer. This isn't just one application. It's a whole network of AI agents that sits on top of all your other tools and systems. Their job isn't to help you with one task. Their job is to help manage the flow of work across the entire company. Let me give you a concrete example. An engineer needs to schedule a design review. Instead of spending hours on logistics, they just state their goal. An AI agent then jumps in and handles the rest. It gathers the right documents, suggests who should be invited, drafts an agenda, schedules it, and even summarizes the meeting and tracks the action items afterward. The human focuses on the high-value engineering, and the agent just absorbs all the friction.
Okay, so if this network of agents is the vision, how in the world do you actually build it? This isn't just about what product to buy. It gets to a really fundamental question about how you structure this kind of intelligence.
And the choice is basically this. Do you try to build one giant, all-knowing AI, a single big brain that understands everything in the company? Or do you build a network of smaller, specialized agents, almost like a team of experts? Now, that one big brain approach sounds cool, but in practice, it hits a lot of walls with accuracy and just being able to manage it all. The much more promising path is this network of experts. You have a legal agent that's an expert on compliance, an engineering agent that's an expert on your code base. This approach gives you way better accuracy and is just a lot more reliable. And there's a fantastic parallel for this in tech history. Software development used to be about building these huge single applications.
Over time, the entire industry shifted to building microservices, small, independent services that all work together. It looks like enterprise AI is headed down that exact same path.
Plus, any architecture you build has to be realistic. And the reality is that most companies are using a mix of all kinds of AI models. Some from the big cloud providers, some they built themselves, some from open source. A good coordination layer has to be able to work with all of them, no matter where they live.
So, how does a company actually get to this future? Well, a change this massive isn't a light switch you just flip. It's a journey. It's going to happen gradually, in a series of really deliberate stages.
And the path makes a lot of sense. You start by building a strong foundation, getting your internal knowledge organized so AI can even understand it. Then you start introducing simple AI companions for small tasks. Over time, you let those agents start talking to each other. And eventually, the whole system starts to learn and automatically share the best ways of getting things done.
And this leads to a really fascinating endgame. The ultimate goal here isn't to have more AI dashboards and more AI buttons everywhere. It's actually the opposite. The ball is for the AI to become less and less visible, to the point where it just fades into the background.
Yeah, success in this world won't be some big, flashy wow moment. It'll be much quieter. It'll just be the feeling that work flows. The annoying friction is gone, and getting projects done just feels easier. That's the real revolution.
So let's just quickly recap the whole journey. The vision, an AI connective tissue that handles all the coordination. The problem we're facing today, AI adoption is stalling because, frankly, it often adds more friction. And the solution? Building a coordination layer made of specialized AI agents.
Look, this is really just the beginning of a huge architectural shift, and it opens up a ton of new possibilities. So we'll leave you with a final question to take with you. When you think about your own day-to-day work, how might a network of AI agents like this completely change the way things flow for you?